We've seen a lot of the Phantom Assassin be the answer to the Beastmaster. I'm seeing if it's a potential, because right now you Undying, like you said, doesn't deal with the beast, so I need a carry that's able to farm the summons in the lane. That's really an angle I'm looking at for Apes, and I think you have to go for your Jikro hero here in the 18th.
My only concern with that is if you go a PA, I don't think you can Battle Fury. By the time you get Battle
Mm.
Fury and a couple of items, they've probably taken all of your outer towers just because you've got a Beastmaster lineup,
Yeah, I
right?
agree.
So
I think he has a good lane
it's
though, but then like the Tiny getting
yeah.
involved super early with Shadowblade Agshot, the Exo to push the Beastmaster. So
Hmm.
I'm definitely in agreement where it's
Radiant
like you
team
really
double.
have to dump to that lane.
Phantom Assassin.
All
That's
right.
too
I
right.
mean,
If I get the next couple, I might hit a dab. All right, well,
all right, all right. Well,
just
like whenever you see a Beastmaster, the two heroes that you always think of are Kunkka and PA, and Apes had banned out the Kunkka themselves, right? So I understand it for the laning stage. I'm just concerned for what it means for the
10
game as a whole.
seconds remaining.
um
5
back on the
seconds
Beastmaster real
remaining.
quick as well. We've seen a lot of Tinies have a hero to buff him up. It's been, the Ogre, Eye for a ridiculous amount of stage. We saw Gamers Galaxy, it was the Invoker. So I know you mentioned slightly about the Inner
Dire
Beast, and we saw
PvP.
kind of the ban to protect it as well with the Ogre Magi. So I'm looking to see maybe now Apes, if they can look to buff the Phantom Assassin up in any way, because I really think if they have like a Alacrity PA, he could take over this game. Now the question is, main guy, how comfortable is he on this? I also kind of prefer
10
your
seconds
Leshrac
remaining.
that you brought up before anyway.
Hmm. And I'm
5
also kind of
seconds
thinking, like, what
remaining.
is UDV
Radiant
wanting to
team
round this out
ban.
with either, right? Because the Death Prophet, it's not revealed if this is a support DP or if it's a mid DP. Both could work in this context, right? So I wonder if they're going to, like, there's not really any heroes that could still be that questionable factor. Like, what are they really looking to go for? They ban out the IO as well in the last
10
phase, just
seconds
wanting to remove
remaining.
everything that's going to make this Tiny able to outcarry the PA
5
once it gets to
seconds
that mid
remaining.
game. PA wants late game. She wants to be able to just be enormous enough to stop the Tiny in its tracks to provide that additional burst for the Death Prophet again. Um, I mean, they don't have amazing catch on UDV. That's probably the biggest.
Dire
Like, if you're
team
playing
ban.
super defensively, right? But at the moment, with a lot of their heroes, you kind of need to be up in the face to be able to stop this push, like the Sand King and the Sandstorm. I'm thinking like they couldn't Zeus here, surely not.
UDV?
I feel like you're no apes.
Okay.
I'm just
10
thinking like
seconds
what's going to be
remaining.
able to deal with this push from far away, and
5
there's very
seconds
few heroes
remaining.
left. Like they're banning out a lot of it themselves, right? The Ember Spirits one, the
Radiant
Conquer's another
team
one.
pick.
Seems rough to me, and it's honestly very odd to see the TA ban even, right? Like TA, PA, that's going to be farming a long time, and
Agree.
you would definitely have taken their entire base by that.
And I'm surprised they banned the Templar Assassin with the potential of the
10
Death Prophet
seconds
going mid.
remaining.
So this makes me, I guess it's a bit difficult because Apes do have 24th pick,
Dire
and
team
you'd
pick.
need to go for a hero that's flex, and they actually snagged the Invoker themselves. So I was speaking about the potential Invoker Phantom Assassin. They go for the Invoker Tiny. Man, this is scary. Like, if Tiny gets off to a good start, he is going to deal so much damage with the bugs,
10
with the Inner
seconds
Beast, with the
remaining.
Alacrity.
Yeah, and it
5
kind of
seconds
puts a
remaining.
dampener on the Leshrac as well, right? As a potential pick, because Invoker, you just go cross Wex, EMP. Lesh early on has no way to escape that. So yeah, how do you exactly stop it and try and put the pressure back on to UDV if you go this Leshrac?
Void
Okay.
Choose your
incarnate.
hero.
I like the pick.
It can clear somewhat, right? Like you zip in, you zip out, you're using your dissimilate to constantly spam out these waves, but I'm still a little concerned. I feel like UDV have a lot of pressure early on, and I don't know if Apes are going to be able to deal with it.
Um, I think the Void Spirit's issues for the Invoker if he gets off to a good start, and it can be a bit awkward in the lane because the Tornado getting rid of the Resonant Pulse and melee versus range. So I think it is slightly Invoker favored, very slightly in the lane, but Invoker hates heroes that gets onto him, and Mamangdai on the Void Spirit can definitely do that. It's also another hero that can kind of play off the back of this Hoodwink, so you weren't just relying on the Lul having a really
10
good
seconds
blink timing.
remaining.
You can now have the Void Spirit who just relies on levels to start.
5
I
seconds
think this is a
remaining.
very, very even draft.
I'm going to favor UDV just because I feel like this Invoker pick have pushed them away for something. I'm going to talk about the Lesh again, but it's pushed them away from the Lesh. And now I feel like you can go a bit more into the Exort build, right? Because you cold snap or you try for a tornado EMP, Void Spirit's just going to dissimulate away, right? It's not going to be super effective. Whereas if you've got a few more points in the Exort, you can go a little bit further into the Alacrity style of build to enable Ken once he gets online. Like, I feel like as soon as he hits level 15, you don't even need the Shadow Blade. You just need your Echo Saber, Aghanim Shard, and then you can just go with the rest of your team. And even just going Exort right for the laning stage, you've got a lane with Lim and Delul there. So you know they're going to be looking to make plays, try and make one in response with that Sunstrike to be able to help out.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. So I'm going to give the edge to UDV. I feel like the timing that they're going to hit in full stride, which is super scary. We're probably looking at just the Echo Saber, Shadow Blade, and Ag Shard on Ken, and then he's ready to rock and roll, and then you'll have Helm of the Overlord by that stage. Invoker's going to have a lot of levels to get into these fights and really show his importance, but it's just how you can buff up the Tiny at such an early stage, and I'm worried that Apes might not be able to deal with this. So giving the edge to UDV, but I do still, like, I can see the game plan for Apes. Like, I can see how they're looking to play this game, but it's just a question of, are they able to get over the hump?
Prepare for battle.
They do start out strong quite often, the Apes. You know, their first game win rate is very good against a lot of these other teams, so
What is this, one series we're basing off, Danog?
No, other series as well.
Okay.
Luzify using the fact that he is a slippery weaver plus the Smoker Deceit, just getting that really early Observer Ward out. It's going to spot out any kind of planting. Is Mumbai inside vision for that? No, he's not. So he hasn't placed his Observer just yet, but JG is going to be there to scout out a lot of this movement.
We're a Dire looking to kind of play around with who's got the wards. The moment. Dire's got one. They placed a very deep ward, it looks like, from Lim.
Seconds to battle.
Give them some information. Maybe he can snag away the bottom bounty rune at the moment, but yeah, we spoke about UDV and kind of hitting their timing. More than likely, I feel like 20 minutes is really going to be that stage. Do we feel like...
I feel like it's sooner for UDV, honestly. Okay. Yeah, maybe like 16. You just want to be making a play with that third siege creep wave, in my opinion, right? Okay. Like, they need to make sure that they're hitting their timings with the Aghanim Shard and just immediately making sure that they go.
Already forcing out an early Burrow Strike level for Delul, so not the ability you really want for the lane. I do think this combo is pretty strong. The Sand King, the Hoodwink. Sand King is still a little bit vulnerable through the early levels. A lot of people have spoken about level 4 is where you at least feel you're the best in the lane. So we'll see how aggressive UDV can play. I mean, Teehee on the Death Prophet is such a strong laning support.
Yeah, but I've been really impressed by Delul as well, right?
Same.
Like, especially his Pango. He just made so much work happen in those open qualifier games, and see if he's able to replicate it on his Sand King.
So it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to contest the early damage from Ken. Tiny always has been a beast in that department. But the double stuns that Apes have to play with down bottom, if they get that second level, they can maybe put some pressure back onto Teehee.
Denied.
That's how the other lane's shaping up at the moment. JG still trying to find his first last of the game. And speaking about that, gets both on the range creeps. At least it's now been able to get himself a little bit more comfortable into the matchup versus Mamang Dial.
Speaking about a lot of UDV's timings, I'm also just thinking about like how are they going to be able to play around this Helm of the Dominator, Helm of the Overlord. I feel like once you get to that key stage where your entire team is just going to look to clump together and ball down a lane while PA's trying to get the most out of her Battle Fury, which is gone by the way. Like, do you go the Alpha Wolf just for the extra damage, and then once you build into the Helm of the Overlord, obviously you take an Ancient Creep. I feel like that's just going to be incredibly strong for the laning stage.
And with the laning stage, Repeater, he went level 1 in the Axes, so has now put his first level into the summons. But I see this often. I was a bit surprised just because the Undying doesn't really deal great with the summons. And look at Jikro pouncing. All right, Repeater He's going to be chased down here. The slows continuing to stack up. They've got another dagger in a second. Jikro really wants the last hit. And he will be able to snag that one. Our first blood of the series. And now Jikro is even going for more. Lucifer posturing pretty aggressively. Jikro might actually be in trouble with the Sakuchi. And the Gemini is going to try and go for it, but he's on top of the Korea wave. Lucifer gets the kill just before he dies. But two early casualties for UDV in this top lane.
That's a big deal, especially with Jikro being able to pick that first one up. You know, if you do continue to go into this Battle Fury build, any kind of little bonus that you get is just going to be worth so much more. Rapido at the time didn't actually have a boar up as well, so that could have been used to prevent a lot of this chasing happening from the Apes side. Lucifer is just coming straight back to the lane. Doesn't quite have level 3 yet, despite getting that solo kill onto Jikro though, so won't be able to pick up any kind of significant bounty there.
I know we've been seeing the Weaver still be not as hotly contested of a hero, but it is still a hero that we're seeing a decent amount. From previous patch, we were getting like there was heavy consideration on what ability you wanted to go at the second level, whether it was a swarm, whether it was a Gemini attack. For me though, lately in this patch, I've been seeing a lot of the Gemini attack. Have you been seeing the same as well? And maybe do you feel like this is because the slight swarm nerf early?
More than 1 point have you been seeing?
No, just like I'm more speaking about what ability hero is at level 2, because some lanes you go back and forth. Whereas whether it's a swarm, whether it's a Gemini, have you been seeing one ability favored more than the other?
I think that extra hit to kill is just worth so much more, right? With the swarm being nerfed, it now only takes 3 hits from heroes as opposed to 4. So you do get a lot more value out of the Gemini attack as opposed to it. It's also just going to be effective at trying to bully away this PA. Because again, you're just wanting to delay this as much as possible, and the slower that Jikro can get some of his items, the better. You can see that they're consistently looking to ferry out more and more regen, and Gemini attack is what's going to result in that.
Okay, bugs out.
I don't think they can.
See how scared they're kind of playing.
Yeah, just the one salve coming out right now for UK, so it's going to be enough to make him healthy, but in terms of what it means for Jikro, like it's going to take some time, and he's even just got the boots coming out to him, right? So it's going to be a long time until they're healthy enough to actually look to contest in this lane. Just the boar standing there.
Oh, so close from Rapido. You almost got the axes on the Denying Undying.
Did you get the XP?
I didn't check. I wasn't checking at his XP level.
Well, I mean, he's almost level 5, so I would have to assume so. Like, he's a full level ahead of PA.
It was in Axe's range, so I have to imagine that's in range for experience as well. In lane, they do have first rotation from Lucifer. They'd love some earn charges. Not going to be easy now with the level 6 picked up. Mana's going to be drained away, though, so Momain Dai doesn't have this mobility to get out of the aggressive dive, and well, there's your earn charges. JG up to 2. Didn't even need any to get the kill, and now we're looking at bottom as the Lul. He's going to be chased down for the combination of Ken and Tihi. Lim a little bit too late to offset the aggressive maneuvers that UDV are putting out here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, Mamang Dai was bodying that mid lane. He was ahead by a good 12 last hits and 10 denies versus this Invoker. And now just with that one death, like you mentioned, the earn charges. Oh, speaking of mid lane, I think it should be fine. It just makes him so much healthier. He got a full wave of denies as well. Net worth is evened out, so he's actually overtaken the Void Spirit. Just things gone really well. Really nice timing for the rotation through there from Lucifer.
A sign to heed.
And it is scary, because if Invoker also gets off to a decent start, and if you have supports that can play with him, then Void Spirit can be in a bit of trouble. But it is always dependent on how you use your abilities, because you can just reset with the Astral Step. So all eyes on how they look to continue to make these rotations to mid.
But, I mean, I feel like Lucifer has been doing a great job on this top side, right? Like, making the rotation mid, of course, very important. But just this build, constantly harassing, not doing more than one death, but that death was for the PA, right? And it's just keeping them having no regen up on this top side. Undying's finally having a little bit more ferried out to him. But you've got a Beastmaster that's got a net worth lead over a PA, which is not what you want to see when you pick this PA specifically in response to the Beastmaster.
Bottom lane, Dalul. A lot of damage onto Tahi to start. Great bushwhack from Lim, though. Puts them both together into the Sandstorm damage. But Tahi, he's got the extra rotation from JG. That's looking to get some blood spilt down into the jungle, and that's going to be Lim dropping top lane. Simultaneously, we've got even the Void Spirit getting involved as well, but all his ultimate charges have been expended, so Lucify, he can just freely right-click. They've got the vision thanks to the Hawk, and now he's going to turn to UK as well. Lucify, already level 3, Sakuchi up in a couple of seconds, but it is a couple of seconds too long as Undying gets the TP out, but it is still a 1-for-1 trade.
I mean, you're giving up cores all over the map, essentially. Like, this is not looking good at all for the Apes. Already a 2k net worth lead. You've got a Beastmaster draft, and even look at Lucify's items. He saw the fact that they placed down the Observer Ward there when he was looking to make that run back, so they're not going to have information. And he's gone for a Drums on the Weaver. So I talk about this huge timing that's going to happen. It's just going to be amplified even further.
Super scary. That is. That's an item we see often after the Beastmaster picks up the Helm of the Overlord as well. But they're just kind of a little bit earlier. If he can get it by the second catapult timing, which probably a little bit too much gold, unless he gets some kills out of nowhere, but that is almost a guaranteed tower being claimed then.
He's been doing a great job of it though, so wouldn't put it past him. You've even had to switch up to Lul up onto this top side, right? Like just abandoning the lane, obviously not going too well on the bottom side. And what are we looking at? Stealing away, Fob?
Yeah, he took a big creep. Good old Lucifer. I'm like, all right, maybe he won't get the drums, but if he keeps taking big creeps like that out of nowhere, they're even running down UK as well. Repeato won't have to use the roar for the kill onto the Undying. They will make him work for it. But really, nothing is being claimed across the map for Apes. You got Jikroy playing in a 1v1 versus Ken down bottom, so this is ultimate free farm for the Tiny.
I mean, Dalul has parked himself on the top side. That's where you kind of want to be against the Beastmaster when he hits this first timing. By the way, Helm of the Dominator now available, so you just allow the creep to tank the tower, provides so much. A lot of this attack speed coming through from even just the level 1 Inner Beast does an incredible amount, and we haven't even considered Exorcism, right? So I wonder if they want to go for trying to force them to pop a glyph. I don't know. I don't think you need to go tier 2. Oh, actually.
Initial sun's out. Now they got the follow-up in the silence. They'll commit the roar just to secure the kill, but they know how vital the main Dire is to the lineup of Apes. So if they can continue to shut down the Void Spirit, which they are doing so far, 3 early deaths. And now even Lim, he might add to the casualties, JG. Slowly trailing the Hoodwink. They'll get the Cold Snap out with a combination of the Urn, so Lim continuing to stutter step away, but he really gets no distance from UDV that are continuing to play very, very fast in this game 1.
So you mentioned, will they have the drums at that 10-minute timing? Would you look at that? He does with 500 gold to spare as well.
Where's the Desolator though? Come on, man.
That's true. You need to see at least the Blightstone.
All right, Repeater's getting pincered. Nice positioning from Dalul. There's a big kill for Apes to get. You know, they're not forcing out too much. They had multiple heroes already sitting in the jungle. Now, it's not great if you lose Jikroy down bottom, though. The creep's closing, so he might have a Phantom Strike placement, but UDV just surround him under the tier 1 tower, and your Phantom Assassin continuing to fall lower and lower in the net worth. Only one component of the Battle Fury completed.
And you've still got this siege creep down on the bottom side. Ken, just with that 1 point in the grow, able to tank up so much of this level 1 tower.
There's another one dead. Dalul, he's in quite a peculiar position. Looks like JG was able to sniff him out in the tree line. And that is Exo Pop. So this is our 3rd tier 1 tower, more than likely going the way of UDV, and I do not see how Apes can defend this lane.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was worried about whenever I see, you know, an Undying being picked up and, you know, you've got this PA with the last overall pick. Like, we've seen plenty of times a PA able to salvage a late game that seems unsalvageable, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to a late game just because of how well UDV have been playing their lanes.
And they have... I just continue to see them dewarding the map as well. The map is completely blind for Dire and for Radiant. Not only do they have wards, but they also have Hawks to be able to play off the back of too. So this map is just going to continue to shrink, and that is not what you're looking for with the Phantom Assassin lineup, because he cannot get involved in these fights.
Keep going on about Lucifer. He's just trying to be an absolute nuisance on this bottom side. Jikroy hasn't got the Ring of Health available, so Lucifer is just like, okay, well, I'm just going to continuously look to bully you, make sure that you're moving away from me, not farming. And if you're not farming, my team's just going to do the rest of the work. They don't need the Weaver there to get a lot of these towers. And there's no stuns, right? So he's always going to be able to time-lapse.
It's such a scary thought when you're seeing a Weaver just 1v1 a Phantom Assassin in the lane. It's just, you're getting contested farm, whereas the Tiny is loving life. Echo Saber looks like he's going straight to the Aghanim Shard next. And they've surrounded Lucifer, or have they really? Because JG is going to show up. So UK's the target. With Lim nearby, we'll give him some respite with the Bushwhack, but still, Lucifer and JG are able to pick up their 12th kill of their game, and this is getting really out of control. 8,000 net worth lead. UDV not looking back.
Bro, have you seen Lucifer's net worth relative to PA's? Like, that is the state that this game is in right now.
So, is Weaver the background next?
Could very well be.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
just a Lucifer.
That's good enough as well, but I know you hate your Weaver, so maybe putting him on the screen is... It's like, but maybe you're signaling to Gaben, like, come on, man, you got to get rid of this hero. Just nerf him harder. Why am I still seeing him?
It's too much. It's like, why do we need this much Weaver? It had its time in the sun. Now time to put it in the bin. By the way, speaking of Lucifer, again, he's just gone more into the auras, right? It's very clear they're just going to go for this Death Ball, Pipe being the next pickup for him. Even just looking to deny away some of these runes won't, unfortunately, be able to get that one from among Dire. But the fact that he looked to use the Aether Remnant might clue them in that they've got some high ground vision there. So could even be another free D ward coming through for UDV.
So for me, what I'm looking at Apes is this Blink soon to be picked up from Delu. I mean, he's farming the dead lane. He went Vanguard first, which a bit awkward, but now with the Blink soon to be completed, they're just going to have to drop, because how far behind they are, probably Epi and Sharpshooter. Maybe not Epi, actually, if Mamang Dai is playing with the Sand King as well. So this is how I'm looking for Apes to just slowly bring themselves back into the game, because they do have some squishy heroes on UDV. Weaver squishy, Boka squishy, Death Prophet squishy. So you can, you get these kills, you set up for pickoffs, and keep making space for Jikroy. But that's the angle I'm looking for them back into this game. It's still not going to be easy, though. They need time.
I don't think Weaver's squishy anymore, man. He's got a lot of stats, and he's got a pipe. Sorry, a hood.
True.
Like, he's going to be able to withstand a lot. And, just be a little careful there. Preemptively
We'll see
popping
now.
that hood.
Like, this is just a test to see how much damage they're really going to do versus Lucifer. And I guess if he's able
Not
to
much.
get... Yeah, I don't know how he got rid of the Bushwhack. I don't know. And meanwhile, Roche, it's falling. So you've already got your Aegis, 15 minutes in. Ken actually went Shadow Blade before the Aghanim Shard, so that just tells me he wants to be super, super aggressive instead of putting more emphasis on his farming speed.
It's understandable, right? Like, he was farming so well that he's like, okay, look, we can afford to have maybe a 1 minute period where I don't have this. So he's just wanting to pick up as much farm as quickly as possible. Like, this wave goes down, he's basically
Lucifer bottom. Let's see if they can get the kill. Hood's on cooldown, so maybe they got a window with Jikroy in the neighborhood. A couple of crits along with a sharpshooter. And that's big. You're getting map control, you get a kill, Jikroy gets involved. Yes,
you get map control?
Okay, well, yeah, you're gonna get the tower. You're gonna get the tower. Exo was used. Well, they've got Helm of the Overlord. Let's see, honestly, because Radiant do push incredibly fast, but I think you just trade top for bot. And
I think
something.
you go high ground right now on UDV, honestly. You've got Aegis, you've got Aghanim Shard coming out. They're just going to take away the outpost, get some vision up, and go into the high ground.
I hope they do. Because you're definitely in a position you're not worried about. But now this opens up a little bit more of the map. You've got to...
I mean, they could. There's nothing stopping them.
Radiant are scanning.
I guess Exo, maybe? Like, maybe you wait for that.
Yeah, that's why you go mid instead, right? It's just safer.
Oh, they're going to intercept the courier. It's got the blink. No, JG.
Oh, kill it.
Oh,
JG.
he's gonna get it up, but it doesn't matter. The damage over time ramping up and Ken stalking in the invis. So Sand King drops. Ken puts his name in the feed and now Luzify moving for Lim.
Dire's top tower is under
He's just
attack.
waiting for some extra reinforcements, the numbers to show up, and they've got a lane ward as well, so this pesky little squirrel will actually make it away this time.
Bro, Rapido's nearly soloing the tier 3
Yeah, I'm
bot,
watching
top.
this.
I mean, you were mentioning before the avenue of coming back with the Sand King, with the Blink Dagger. You said you might not think he needs Epicenter. He needs to use Epicenter to enable them to get back into this game. And even then, honestly, if they fall down, Epicenter has still a relatively long cooldown at level 1, a full 2 minutes, and your respawn times aren't that big. It's only 18 minutes into the game. So you just respawn and do the exact same thing again.
They're gonna
Try and look to use it. It's Jikroy got
Luzify though.
Fury and Ogrex.
Jikroy's gonna show. Mamang Dai's gonna run into Ken. A lot of damage already out. Now with the silence follow-up, Mamang Dai just gets brought down to start the fight. And with the numbers advantage, UDV can swarm underneath the remnants of the tier 1 tower. The corpses littering the ground as UDV run rampant and... Woo! What a game 1 to set ourselves up for UDV. Tier 2 to fall, and they might even consider high ground.
Why not, right? He's going to try and catch out Lim here on the retreat. Ooh, nah, just go straight back to the mid lane. Why not, right? Like, you didn't use Epicenter, but with the speed that you're able to push, it's just way too much to have to deal with.
Dire's middle tower
Okay,
is under
they wanted to
attack.
go top. The tower's already relatively weaker. Why not? And say goodbye to
Dire's
Arax 19
top
minutes
tower
into the
is
game.
fallen.
Last-ditch defense coming through here from Sand King.
Dire's top barracks has
Nope.
fallen.
Alright. Some respect. Still got...
I mean, there's a DD on the top river as well.
Tiny
on Silver Edge on Tiny against a PA. Good luck, Jikroy.
Has he got it already?
Yep.
Oh no. Oh, that's really not good.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look at Ken. Look, come here, buddy. Come here. Hello? Count it up. It's only
got
3
Aegis, though,
heroes.
like-
Yeah, still in on the minute with the Aegis. So Ken, who's really found who?
Top barracks are
Looks like the Tiny, well, that's the person that's run into the Undying. He's continued to be slowed up. Delu charging up the epicenter. He's got Mamang Dai nearby for the burst potential. Mamang Dai is actually going to try and target the Invoker instead. But instant
They've used
pipe
everything.
usage and JG still at half health. All the abilities on cooldown, Apes.
I think they just push mid. They don't have Tombstone, they don't have Epicenter, they don't have Flesh Golem. They've used everything. Just push right on into mid. Whatever reason, okay, I was about to say for whatever reason, he's going to move towards the bottom side, Ken. It's because he saw Jikroy on the map looking to farm.
Radiant's bottom tower
But I
is
just
under
really feel like
attack.
this is a timing where you could absolutely be going in onto
Radiant
this high
are
ground.
scanning.
Oh, he's even got a Fey Grenade as well. Of course he does, with a Tiny.
All right, go and add what's the probability? Let me hear it.
98.
You're off. Guess you're
97. 1%
no,
off.
not
Come
good
on.
enough. You keep calling yourself an oracle, and I don't know. You didn't do too well in the draft. Didn't guess the probability. Quite honestly, I'm pretty disappointed. I was expecting better from my my co-caster.
Who am I? Oh, I think these drafts are relatively even right now.
Yeah, but well, I don't know. UDV. Okay, come on, man. Luzify just absolutely dumps it. I'm not taking this into the equation.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe you should.
Dire's
Well,
bottom
I-
Give
tower is under attack.
some emphasis to this man. He's a great player.
Oh, I see. 7, 2, and 5. Drums, pipe. My guy's high net worth in the Sand King and only 1,000 behind the Void Spirit. This scary gameplay from Luzify. Not just him, but all of UDV
Radiant's
looked
top
really
tower is
solid.
under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under
Oh,
attack.
there's the last outer tower by 20 minutes. I still feel like they could have probably been one extra lane of racks into this, right? Because this is just going to allow, Sand King, he has Epicenter up again. It's level 2 Epicenter
Oh,
now.
no, Danog,
PA.
look at this. JG's
I
running
was
to
about to say,
Dicroy.
might have
That
the
is an
DPC.
ambitious TP. He's just hoping none of the stuns are invoked. But I tell you what, JG, he's making sure whenever he's moving through the jungle, he's got Cold Snap at the ready, and instantly UDV all their other heroes show up. They know the importance of continuing to put Jickery in the bin, and that they do for the 4th time this game.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, he's still, what, 1,200 or so gold away? Oh, a double damage right outside the Roche pit. Still not going to be there for about a minute to 2 minutes, but I mean, now Tiny himself has the BKB, so he's not even scared about going up against this Void Spirit anymore, not scared about the Epicenter, not even the slows coming through from the Tombstone, which probably feels like the main concern for him. And yep, look at this, just high ground without the
Dire's
Tiny.
middle tower has fallen.
Man, there's a horde of couriers coming out right now as well for UDV, just delivering everything to enable more survivability.
All right, well, they're going to charge Epi up. Trying to blow Teehee. Tornado disrupting a little bit. Teehee gets a lot of health back. The Death Prophet's not even dead! Oh, yeah. That's the sign of the end. That is the sign of the end as Apes... They've got to call it quits. A 22-minute victory as the throne explodes and UDV take game 1.
Yeah, this comes down to the draft. I feel like UDV, they went pretty heavy into a lot of this push, but they didn't exactly reveal a ton super early on, right? Like, they went a Death Prophet and then a Tiny first phase. There's nothing super unorthodox about that, but I feel like as soon as you go into a Beastmaster, you got to address it. PA tried to address the laning stage, but it doesn't address the problem as a whole, which was, we're going to push you down and we're going to put you in the bin. And UDV did just that.
UDV, I mean, that is, yeah, you're really not selling it short. That's exactly what they did. Just put him down in the grave. Such a convincing victory. And for Apes, weren't you saying they're the ones coming out strong in game 1? So if I remember correctly, that's what you said, right?
70% of the time. 70% of the time.
Yeah, okay.
I was trying to salvage something. You know, a biased caster comes through with a right prediction, and people just think it's because I have favoritism for one of these teams. I love all these guys. You know, I want to see the best for SEA Dota, but UDV, their draft this game was just on another level.
That it was, and their gameplay as well. UDV, a 21-5 kill count, and they just maul Apes. But the beautiful thing about this, it is a best of 3. Both Apes and UDV trying to find their first series victory of Division 2 Spring Tour, but UDV, they are in commanding position now with a performance like that. We'll see if their momentum continue on to the second game or if Apes can hit back.